Child safety advocates say they believe the rise in children's deaths from gun violence is caused, at least in part, by more guns in homes that aren't being stored safely. They say the state needs an educational campaign about the issue of safe gun storage. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie is live at the Legislative Building with a look at some of these eye-opening numbers.
Chris, state data shows that gun ownership is very common in North Carolina and that many of those gun owners are not storing their guns securely. Some are finding their way into children's hands, and child deaths and injuries from firearms are rising quickly. Gun sales spiked in North Carolina in 2020 and 2021 during the pandemic, and many of those guns aren't being stored safely. According to a state survey last year, 42% of North Carolina adults say they have a firearm at home. Nearly half said they store it loaded, and 53% of those gun owners say they don't lock it up. Child safety advocates say that's one reason child deaths and injuries from firearms also spiked in those years. In 2021, 116 children were killed by firearms, compared to 95 in car crashes, the former leading cause of injury deaths among children. Even before the pandemic, the Child Fatality Task Force was advocating for a statewide educational campaign about safe gun storage, including free gun locks. Task Force member Alan Della Penna says it's also a school safety issue, since most guns used in school shootings are brought from home.
The issue is not going away. We know that. We would like to mitigate the problem in the state and begin the work.
In 2021, the State House passed a bill to fund the program and put it in the budget. But the state Senate refused to consider it. Bill sponsor Bobby Hainig said Senate leaders wouldn't tell him why.
But, we're just not going to take up any gun bills this year. That's pretty much all I got. And I don't know if there's underlying reasons or not.
Hainig is now in the Senate, and he says he plans to try again for the program next year. He says it's not a partisan issue and it's not anti-gun.
I'm a big Second Amendment person, 100%. And this has nothing to do with the Second Amendment. This is just common sense, and it's education, and it's voluntary. Nothing mandatory about it. Nothing says you have to do this.
Now, I also asked Senate leaders why the gun safety program did not advance last year. They did not respond. Back to you, Chris.
Hopefully the gun advocates are hoping that they change some minds at the state level. Thank you, Laura.